flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
From the executive session, time out. We have a presentation for School County Keep It Pretty, the skip award. Mandy Good.
Why don't we go, Manny?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Mayor.
Mandy Fitzpatrick, School Keep It Pretty Chair and Coordinator. I'm here to present an award, but before I do so, I just wanted to give a little update about School Keep It Pretty. We were established in 1986, which means we're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. We're very excited about that. We just finished our spring cleanup. We had over 30 cleanups done around the county, collecting probably over 300 bags. I'm still getting counts in. And those are just cleanups that were done through School Keep It Pretty. PennDOT's Adopt a Highway also had cleanups throughout the springtime. So if you're out and about, you are seeing cleaner roads in our county. So thank you to you all for your support and for everyone who's volunteered their time. Today I'm here on behalf of Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful and School Keep It Pretty to honor and recognize our Community Partner Award for their outstanding contributions to help keep Schuylkill County clean and beautiful. Skip and Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful are nominating Hidden River Credit Union for being a valuable partner for continuously cleaning up along their Westwood Road location and for the past 9 years, and making many investments in Schuylkill County through donating time and resources to many organizations and projects. Their organization's efforts help spread awareness about the importance of cleaning up litter, and we are grateful for the companies like theirs for their dedication, commitment, and exceptional contributions to advance our mission and strengthen community improvement efforts across Schuylkill County and the state. We'd like to present Hidden River with an award and a certificate as an expression of our appreciation. Today I have with me a few people. I have from Hidden River, Brendan, Mike, and Julia, as well as from Schuylkill Keep It Pretty. I have several of my board members. Commissioner Hess is the commissioner on our board, as well as my treasurer here, Chris Hughes, and the vice chair, Kyle Sweats from the Solid Waste Office. So on behalf of Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful, I'm presenting this beautiful award to Hidden River, as well as a certificate of appreciation. So thank you very much. Can we get a picture before? Would you guys say anything?
No. That's the first. But just thank you for what you are doing. Everything that Skip does is great. You started out this year or last year?
Schuylkill Connects took it on in 2024.
It's 2024 after we started.
Yeah.
After both.
Yes.
I started with the first skip way back. My cousin John Eppington was a scout leader with the Boy Scouts that took beer ball at the beer cans. And it seemed like the my own farm was a far enough away from the Kintis bar that you drink a beer, throw out the window. His farm out of the old white church, same thing. It's X number of miles out of town. And I said to him, he said, listen to Chef. I said, well, if the Boy Scouts pick these up, we'll train generation to understand it. This is not to be done. 4 years later, we don't have near that trouble. We used to have 35, 40 bags of beer cans and bottles. As the Boy Scouts got older, they themselves stopped. They did do it. They told their kids not to do it. So it doesn't work.
And Keep Pennsylvania, or Keep America Beautiful, just released the national study that shows that litter is down. I can't think of the percentage, but this report is showing a decrease in litter and a number of volunteers coming to the table and really making sure that Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, and America is being cleaned up and kept beautiful.
Again, I know 40 years, it's amazing of the organization, and it's done a lot of things throughout Schuylkill County. And definitely there was a little bit of a down period there, and I appreciate the new board coming up and getting involved in meeting and also getting the youth involved. Definitely a lot of the students and stuff are doing different challenges and stuff. And that's a great thing. I've always said that when people are rolling through our county and maybe looking for a place to live or set up a business, that's the first thing they look at is the appeal of what it is. And we have a beautiful county, especially as on the points where everybody enters. And we appreciate all your hard work and efforts. It does mean a lot, and it's very effective. So thanks again. Appreciate it.
Yes, over in the corner. Josh,
Unless
just
you want
like
us to come in
Josh,
front.
in front. Which microphone's actually somewhere? Oh, too loud? We got a price on the new system.
That would be great.
Yeah, the new system is, oh my.
Oh, it's
I said,
I know, it's crazy.
I don't know if we'll look at it.
Well, I think it's still.
Oh, that doesn't.
Yeah, I know.
Find out how to get rid of it. I was thinking of it.
What's that? It's the game and everything, but on the, I don't know how it works. I never even show, or else I can go and go.
It's like a system for less than.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a bit ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The aliens are jamming our signal.
No. Any,
Yeah.
okay, let's move on to meeting with public comment. Let's see what feedback we get. Well, we priced the new system. Oh, we're not going with that. I'm just tilt that up. Good morning, commissioners. Chris Kolowski, Norwegian Township. Of course, I respectfully ask that you maintain comments and hold comments until after my 3 minutes. Today, I would like to discuss the long-term financial condition of Schuylkill County and what many taxpayers are beginning to ask, is our county on a current sustainable path? According to employee wage salary information obtained through a right-to-know request, Schuylkill County employs approximately 671 individuals with a total annual wages of salaries of about $28 million. However, wages are only part of the picture. When you factor in healthcare benefits, pensions, Social Security, Medicare, workers' comp, unemployment compensation, and other employment-related costs, the total taxpayer investment is substantially higher. The county-owned adopted budgets show compensation and benefits totaling. The county-owned adopted budget shows compensation and benefits totaling approximately $42.6 million in 22, $45 million in 23, $46.2 million in 24, $47.8 million in 25. In each of those years, employee compensation and benefits represent about 55 to 61% of the general fund expenditures. Simply put, more than half of the county general fund is devoted to personnel costs. At the same time, the county has repeatedly relied upon reserves and unassigned fund balances to balance the budget. The adopted budgets show approximately $4.7 million from the fund balance in 22, $4.6 million in 23, $10.5 in 24, $6.1 million in 25, and another $5.8 million in 26. That amounts to nearly $32 million in reserve usage over 5 budget cycles. Reserves are important. They provide financial stability, protection during difficult times, but reserves are not a reoccurring revenue source. They are savings. So my question is this: what is the long-term plan? If compensation costs continue to rise, healthcare continues to rise, and fund balances continue to be used year after year, what happens with those reserves when they're no longer available? Will taxpayers eventually be asked to absorb another real estate tax increase? Will county services be reduced? Or does the county have a long-term financial strategy that avoids both? I am not criticizing county employees. I am asking for transparency and planning. Taxpayers deserve to know the current reserve balance, how much has been spent over the last several years, how much remains available, and what projections look like over the next 3 to 5 years. I respectfully request that commissioners provide a public financial presentation dealing with reserve balances, compensation and benefit trends, and the county's long-term financial outlook. Thank you for your time.
I can add this other one right now.
Sure.
So, yes, we used, I put 2 million, 5.8 million balanced budget, but that reserve money's taxpayers' money. We saved $1 million in our healthcare this year. And that all dovetails to what everything I've been saying about tax revenue. And why some people are mad at my stance on data centers, if they're done in the right locations, the right stuff, and I have a whole bunch of information on data centers that I want to present.
With the right restrictions.
With the right
Correct.
restrictions, they will help balance our budget because they could generate one whole mill of taxes. So our shortfalls, just like you just said, run about $5 million a year.
Right.
Well, if I have $15 million a year coming in from data centers, taxes on data centers, just 3 compounds, now you have no shortfalls. Now you have extra money in the county. Now, like you say about the compensation, right now we're in union negotiations. We have to negotiate with 7 unions. I now believe it's 8 unions. So when they negotiate their union contracts, we're going through one right now that they are requesting pretty substantial increases, percentage increases in their pays. And a lot of the services we can't cut.
Correct. They're state mandated. Right. They're state
I
mandated.
can't cut the courts. I can't cut senior services. I can't cut children and youth. I can't cut adult probation. You can't cut any of the domestic relations. You can't cut juvenile probation.
However, there are some top heavy salaries within the county. And I just think that we're in a position right now where we know we've been nipping at that fund balance.
Fund balance has about $22 million in it, and we, like with the million we saved in our healthcare, we replenish money back into that fund. So the long-term strategy of the county, we're actually in really good shape compared to most counties surrounding us and bigger counties. We are in good shape financially. We are in good shape into the foreseeable future. But just like you're saying, we need new things. I'm trying.
Correct.
Let the state let 65 counties. 2 counties in the state have an 8% sales tax. Philadelphia County has 8%. Allegheny County has 7%. The other 65 counties have nothing. Let every county have a 1.5% sales tax. Then everybody pays into that, not just homeowners. And if Schuylkill County had a 1.5% sales tax, that would generate another $15 million a year. That means we would be able to lower property taxes some, be able to do more for first responders, firefighters, community, and everything. But Harrisburg has to let us do it. This last budget cycle, we asked, can we do this? Can we do no? The only thing the state allows us to do is tax your property, which I'm an advocate. I don't think we should have to pay property taxes. I believe that we should own our properties free and clear. I think they should do like southern states and do it in the earned income tax and do it in sales tax. But that's way out of my purview as a commissioner. So there is an initiative right now trying to get the counties a sales tax because then we can get some relief somewhere. We've been hearing it for years on school property tax.
Which is killing a lot of people.
And if we can do it on, if I can save you money on your county or you can save it on your school, do you care where it's at? As long as you're getting a savings.
Correct.
So we have long-term plans that I've been working on. I've been working with about 5 other counties now to help try to push initiatives for that stuff. And like I said, with our fund balance, everything that we saved in our healthcare that we replenish that reserve fund balance. So our reserve fund balance is sitting at about $22 million right now. And that's taxpayers' money. That's not money that the county thing. That's what it's there for. And we are healthy with our reserves. And plus, we're making money. We're gonna be able to save some money with some other stuff that's coming up with refinancing, taking advantage of some of the lower interest rates that are starting to emerge. So yeah, we move money around to save money, but our long-term future is, at least the next 3 years, I believe, are really good, but we do need new revenue. And every time, I know the data center is a big hot button issue, but if we do it right, do it responsibly, it could have a major tax benefit for the residents of Schuylkill County to stabilize those shortfalls. School districts, if a data center locates in a school district, there's one going in Carbon County right now. The Panther Valley School District, I think, will receive $7 million a year in new tax revenue. That saves that school district, the Panther Valley School District. So that's what I mean. And if you take up farmland, like with the data centers, people don't want them on farmlands. I want them on whole lands. I want them on lands nobody else would use. If you would do housing developments to get to that type of revenue source, you would have to develop half your farms in Schuylkill County for houses. And it would probably take, Glenn, what would you think, 50 years?
Roughly 30, yeah.
Because we only get about $400,000 in new revenue a year from people building houses, housing developments, factories. You get about $400,000 a year. And honestly, the state pushes more and more on the counties. Our prisons, we have to put a pot on for mental health. We have to have mental health services now. If a prisoner comes in and they're a drug addict, we have to provide Suboxone. We have to do all kinds of stuff now. There's all these new mandates coming down to senior services, children and youth, human services for the state that they don't give us more funding for. 911 is a perfect
And
example.
again, I know there's a lot of state mandated things.
Yes, and 911 is a perfect example. So yes, there is a long-term plan. I'll show you the one.
And that's the thing, I'm just trying to see if we can get that so that the public can
Well,
have that investment and be able to see that.
I've been talking about data centers, and I know it's unpopular with people.
Sure.
But I've been talking about how the benefit is, if it's done right, how it would generate $1 million of taxes. That means your shortfall's gone every year.
And again, my concern really is that reserve fund balance.
Well,
We keep
reserve
dipping
fund-
at it. As long as we're replenishing it, I know though, if I'm not mistaken, it was close to 50 million, 5-6 years ago.
It was always, since I've been here, hovered in the 22 to 27 to 20.
Again, we keep dipping at it, then we're gonna have to look to see how we're doing.
Sure now that we're replenishing. If the savings on the healthcare, we just got a $950,000 check for savings that we did through our wellness efforts to our health insurance. The biggest cost is just like anything else. It's healthcare. And it's, payments, it's union negotiations, and sometimes it's pensions and unions.
And again, our wages aren't out of control when it looks at like other counties. It's just saying, what are we getting for that? What's the bang for our buck?
And we agree completely. So yes, there is a long-term plan we're trying to, and I'm saying, if we don't allow new growth in Schuylkill County, you have to tax the same pool over and over again. Because we're not allowed to do anything else from Harrisburg. That they say the counties is the only source you have. So unless Harrisburg allows us to do something, there's creative ways out there. And Philadelphia and Allegheny County, they've had that sales tax, I don't even know how long. They have reaped the benefits of that for 50 years, 20 years, 25 years. They have reaped the benefit of that. And every other county is told, no, you just have property tax. So if you really want to help, contact your legislators, contact Harrisburg, and say, give the counties the tools they need to be able to help lessen the impact on a homeowner.
And we have a budget cycle coming up here shortly, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring that up, something to be looking at for the near future.
And actually, we looked into the budget and we're in really good shape for next year.
Yeah, there was,
I'm gonna hold you to that. Go ahead, Bruce, please.
When the ARPA grant we got from the feds, we very purposely put about half of it away from the reserve funds. Because my value said, every year, 4,000 new income, there's $2 or $3 million in new expenses. We built that back up instead of handing money out to everybody. And we did some great things with it, but we put a big chunk of that in that same week now. We were at CCAP last summer, and when the budget went overran, Chester County was already borrowing money in August. We got through till.
We didn't have to borrow.
We didn't have to borrow money at all.
So we are, we have a AA bond rating, and
Yes, sir.
Double A movie bond rating.
We also are over 95% funded on our pension fund, which is extremely unusual and extremely high. The county is in excellent financial condition. It was left that way by my predecessors, their predecessors, and we continue to move forward. We have to be aware of our unfunded fund balance. You are correct. And we need to be judicious with our monies.
Right.
And we are. And
Very
the
good point,
commissioners are doing an excellent job in doing that.
Flying her up to last week, you talked about some parcels that weren't properly,
Chrissy, do you want to address?
Yes.
that?
you know, and like I say, you worked with Chrissy in the session.
Sure.
Did you report that to her at all or not?
I did. There were several of them
Okay.
prior to last week's discussion regarding the ones in Norwegian Township. There's one or two new ones. She reached out to me. I sent her the information, just waiting to hear any type of result back from those.
Okay, we've had this conversation prior quite a bit amongst a lot of us. Back when I first started here in 91, okay, we did have a computer system. It wasn't generated out to the public through a parcel locator yet at that point. So when new construction was done, it went into this drawer and you had to wait 30 days before you can even let it go anywhere because the public person had the right to know their assessment before anybody else. That has never changed, okay? So when a new house is generated in our office, we gotta send out a notice to the owner so that they have time to appeal it, okay? The thing with the system that we have now is it doesn't go on to the Vision's website or any other one that we had prior, Map Viewer did not either, until a bill is generated, okay? Last year, we're going through the reassessment. You all know my staff was over there. We didn't have time for field appraisers to be out there picking stuff up. November came, we started going back out, they started picking them up. We started taxing them most of them got taxed in March, okay? But it wasn't because we did a change of assessment notice that the value would have pulled over. It was because we did a letter to the tax collector telling her to give an additional charge. So the people were taxed for their March bill, but you couldn't see it over on the system because a bill wasn't generated. You still can't see it yet because the July bills are not generated. Once the July bills are generated, the values will pull over. Yes, I get that there's an L1 on there and I get there's a picture of a house. 9 out of 10 times, if you can see the picture of the house, call the office because we got the house already picked up, but the info will not pull over till a bill is generated.
And so how many, 90, what do we assess, 96,000 parcels? 94,000?
I don't off the top of my head.
94, 96,000 parcels?
It might even be a little bit higher
Okay.
because we're breaking them apart with different developments and it might even be 98 now.
Okay.
And again, that's where I mentioned, I said, I could understand if you had a shortfall with staffing. We're pushing that everybody should be looking at the Canvas system.
Yeah.
But there's those discrepancies. So as long as we get that clarification, we need to make sure, because we cannot be leaving money on the table. Little Marapaw that's being taxed versus someone who has a $500,000 or $1 million home that isn't paying taxes, or it looks like they're not paying taxes. It's not fair to Marapaw.
There was also one that you had on there, and I'm not gonna say names or a thing. Those people, we have the house ready to go, but they did not receive an occupancy permit, so they're not living in the home yet. So that's another thing people gotta realize, like, we tax them once they get into
Get
their
occupancy.
homes. We need these occupancy permits. The other bad thing was the township that you're involved with.
Sure.
They were getting us permits. So, I mean, that comes down on the township as well. I mean, I got people that are out driving their districts now, but it's on the township. They need to start getting these permits to us. I mean, it's the law. These townships already be getting them to us.
So in regards to that comment, what from the county aspect, if you're not receiving that, of course it's the law, that's what they should be doing. If you are not receiving them, what are you doing as a department to mitigate that issue with the communication between boroughs, townships, et cetera, municipalities to the tax assessment office?
We have sent out a letter to them telling them what the law states. We've also called numerous times To the point now, we no longer are going to the township, we now go to whoever does your permits together.
With the engineering firm.
So kind of just bypassed you now.
Okay. Again, what I'm looking at is, again, mom and pop who's on a limited income, who's paying such and such, they go to look at a system that shows that there's no improvement cost, but we know somebody's living in that property. That's kind of where we get into
And I
the,
think Christie addressed your concerns because you are making sure they are picked up, they are out doing it. And yes, it's not updated on the system until the school district tax bill generates, then all that will update onto it. So.
so July
we
then,
looked into
correct?
it, yeah. And we looked into what last.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next public comment?
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Chrissy.
You're welcome.
Morning.
Yeah, let's just.
Good morning, Commissioners. Carol Cooney Sizdak, Barnesville, Ryan Township, 1.5 miles from Mountain Valley Golf Course. First, thank you, Commissioners, for not blatantly approving the infrastructure plan for data centers without sending it for further review to the Planning and Zoning Commission. We utilize wells and septic. We are not on public systems. Greer City, Rush Township, they're on public systems. We are not. We are on wells and septic. The Mountain Valley Golf Course, from the Mountain Valley Golf Course toward Locust Lakes Road, that houses a working farm. The cattle, chickens, it is a working farm. It's the Dante Farm. A short distance down the road from that farm is Locust Lake State Park. So you have the residents, fishermen, swimmers, kayakers. You have the possibility for contamination with the data center between air and water. That's what we are concerned about, and noise being a fact. We already entertained FabCon, a mostly empty warehouse not far from FabCon, and one inactive construction behind that. So we kind of feel that we have more than enough warehouses in construction and commercial situations within Ryan. I am not against data centers. We need them with the ever-advancing technology. However, they should not be dumped near residential or agricultural areas, even if they are partially zoned, if sections of the township borough ordinance was partially rezoned other than residential and agricultural and or. Common sense for municipalities does not always apply. The state of Maine proposed a moratorium which puts a ban on data centers needing in excess of 20 megawatts. In Nevada, Amazon signed an agreement with an energy company to add geothermal, which would be carbon-free, power as a source. Locations such as mining reclamation sites, inactive cogen plants should be cleared and utilized. Already existed, not suitable for residential use, should also be considered. If I am correct, in 2026, Schuylkill County received over $8 million in state and federal grants to reclaim coal mine sites. The county reassessment affected residents in various ways. Not all residents increased taxes appealed. Some actually felt their assessment was just. Please do not hurt us by decreasing our property values, which is what data centers do. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that. And these new, we are working with and trying to get some of these data center companies like Lackawanna Township. I'm working with, to try to get them here to give a presentation because now we know of two entities. One's Amazon. I can't say the one right. Nimbus is the other one that's looking at the property in the industrial one. I told them, I said, you gotta start talking to the public and let them know what's going on. They're saying with the water system, it's a closed loop system. Now they're talking about, some of them are talking about using line water. There's all these different aspects going on with this, so it's, and after everybody's talking, I have done talking to comment, I have a lot of talk about the data center. This is all data centers now. So I agree, if they're done the responsible, right way, the right location, I don't want them on farmlands, I don't want them next to residents. I don't want them to have the county give them a tax break.
No.
If you wanna come here, you're paying to come here. You know, so I agree with you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.
He just raised his hand, he just get up and do that on the podium. She's done.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dr. Jillian Mullen, Schuylkill Haven. I'm going to read this. Hopefully I'm allotted maybe a little bit of a time deviation that's already happened here today to finish what I have to say because it is important. I'm not sure whether all of you are aware of a recent change affecting the public access to the civil court records in Schuylkill County, or how we got to the point where the public can no longer easily search civil court dockets online. On August 24, 2022, this board approved county suite agreements with Teleosoft for the Sheriff's Office and the Prothonotary Office. County Suite was presented as a modernization effort intended to improve efficiency, expand online access, and promote government transparency. According to an October 29, 2019 Republican Herald article, before becoming Prothonotary, Bridget Miller stated, "I plan to improve the online offerings and introduce e-filing to better accommodate the public." In 2023, she further stated that the county suite would promote government transparency while expanding online access and document viewing. Then on February 2nd, 2026, the court approved an administrative order issued at the request of the Prothonotary, authorizing fees for online non-confidential document viewing. However, what has now been implemented appears to go much further than an administrative order. As things currently stand, members of the public can no longer search civil court cases online without first purchasing a subscription costing approximately $460 for the first year, a meaningful comparison given that many civil cases remain pending or acting for a year or longer in the civil courts. Without paying, the public cannot search civil cases, view basic docket activity, monitor hearing dates, track filings, or even determine whether a civil case even exists. This affects pro se litigants, taxpayers, journalists, researchers, and ordinary citizens seeking to monitor matters involving local government and issues of public importance. Many neighboring counties, including Dauphin, Berks, Luzerne, Lackawanna, Northumberland, Cumberland, Lebanon counties, and more, continue to provide free access to public access to basic civil docket information. Some even provide access to the docket images themselves. Even more troubling is that members of the public can access federal court dockets, Pennsylvania appellate court dockets, criminal dockets through the unified judicial system, and civil matters at the magisterial district level. Yet in Schuylkill County, the public cannot access even the most basic docket information for civil cases in the Court of Common Pleas without first purchasing a subscription. Citizens already pay filing fees, including automation fees when cases are filed. The public deserves to know how the automation fund and automation fees already collected through filings are being used in relation to the annual county suite costs. Regardless of whether those funds fully cover the expense, requiring a paid subscription to access basic civil docket information raises important questions about public access and transparency. I understand that the court approved the fee schedule, but this county approved the original contract, funded the system, and continues to support it. Therefore, I respectfully ask whether the commissioners were aware that the basic civil docket access would be placed behind a paywall, whether the impact on public access and transparency was considered, and whether the county would support restoring free access to the public civil docket searches while limiting subscription fees to actual docket viewing as authorized by the administrative order and nothing more. Technology should expand access to government and justice system, not reduce it. Citizens should not have to subscribe to their own government simply to see what is happening in public court cases. Thank you.
I'll look into it. I don't know. I know we had a software program, but I don't know all the details because with the monetary, the courts to deal with that.
It's completely shut down. The public has no access to any of the court dockets. The administrative order was signed.
Not only the public, because I can no longer get in them either. And I was telling the schools to go on and check because they all want to know how many are still up in court And we can't tell any of that.
I'll be honest with you, this first time.
I have a pending case and I can't monitor the docket
Okay,
for things that are, need to be done timely. There's certain filings and,
I will.
the mail just doesn't
No.
doesn't
I'm
complete.
not commenting, because listen, for what they do with the price of a stamp is, put it in Pennsylvania, it goes to Alaska for the price of a stamp is amazing, but it's a little.
Yeah, it's turned from document
Yeah.
viewing
So
on the
let me-
administrative order
let me-
into docket viewing.
Let me look into it.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Supposed to be the ease of
It was supposed to be eased, that's what,
between the sheriff and the DA and all of that, if I'm correct
yeah.
on that.
I don't think my office was involved, I think the sheriff's office.
I think it was when someone comes in and files, I think, correct? Sheriff?
Prothonotary,
We're checking about what?
Yeah, what she's talking about is.
prothonotary
Yeah.
filings in the civil court.
Yes.
Like I said, let me,
I got it.
okay.
If you need more information, I can send it to you.
Okay, right, just give it to me.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Any other public comment? Yeah, go ahead. Just. Oh, no.
If you don't mind me asking, how come Peggy comes like that? I'm gonna follow along with these.
Which one is that?
On Laurel Street.
Okay, can I just want to make a comment on these data centers, please. So the one, Mountain Valley, as far as I know, is not, there's no thing on Mountain Valley for a data center that I know of, that I've heard of, or through any of our industrial things. And this is the one that in Frackville,
on Laurel Street.
I don't know where this one stands, but there's nothing official on this one either.
It's not official, but the developer already filed a lawsuit against Newcastle, the developer that wants to build that data center.
Oh, okay. Well, that's-
That's the official part, unofficial.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying, like, there's nothing official on any of these that I know.
Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, everyone else. I'm here to discuss a data center. It's a preliminary proposal in Frackville. Oh, I'm Bernie Karpovich. I live on Laurel Street in Frackville, Butler Township. I'm a retired electrical engineer, worked in the nuclear power plant construction and operations for my 40 years experience. I'm here to present information. Newcastle Township land borders Frackville on Laurel Street. Newcastle just passed this zoning ordinance on May 5th, last month. And what they have written in, I know we're talking about data centers in the right place. This is not the right place because they built this, it seems like they built this ordinance for that data center to be built. I'll tell you why. If you go to page 4, at the bottom of page 4, data centers and data center accessory uses shall be set back 200 feet from residential dwellings. So all the houses on Laurel Street, they'll be allowed to build this data center 200 feet behind their house. That's only 2/3 of a football field. It's not even the length of a football field. And right above that, with the yellow tab, they're allowed to build the buildings 80 feet tall. That's 8-story buildings, 200 feet behind your house. And from the preliminary information, the developer wants to build 4 data center buildings, each building 1,000 feet wide and 250 foot deep, and they're going to allow them to build it 80 feet tall. All the homes on Laurel Street and the rest of Frackville, it'll seem like our homes are in the middle of New York City in the skyscrapers. That's what it'll seem like if they build these large buildings 80 feet tall. This is okay. The next one is page 5, orange tab. I'd like to discuss that. They talk about noise in this ordinance. 60 decibels during the day. And then a maximum nighttime, weekend, Monday to Friday, all day, Saturday, Sunday, decibel level of 55. This ordinance is allowing the developer to make 55 decibel noise all night long. And I did research on the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization recommends 40 decibels for nighttime. That's to allow 40 decibels or less for sleeping. But this ordinance, they're allowing them to make 55 decibel noise all night long. No one will sleep that lives on Laurel Street. There'll be no, and research from Virginia, there are actually windows vibrating on the residences that face the data centers. It's that kind of low volume hum that's 24/7, all day and all night long. And then the last one I want to discuss is the map. This is very important. At the top of the map, you can see there's a lighter shade gray that says HI. They just rezoned all that conservation land. It may be agricultural, but they just rezoned in this ordinance to make it highway industrial, to build all industrial. And if you can see the map, I have Interstate 81. That's where 81 intersects the property. And I drew the red line for Laurel Street. So all those homes on Laurel Street, they'll be allowed to build them 200 feet behind their house. And then on the other side, I'm on the other side of Laurel Street. I'll be facing this 80-foot tall monstrosity buildings every minute of the day that I look out the window or sit on my front porch. If this is allowed, if this ordinance is allowed to be processed as is, I'm hoping that they can make an amendment. Newcastle can make an amendment to protect the Frackville neighbors. As of right now, this is not really protecting Frackville. Newcastle is not protecting Frackville residents to allow these buildings 200 feet from their house.
Newcastle has their own planning and zoning.
Yes, they
It's
do.
not under the county office.
Yes, they do. Can you help Frackville?
Can
you help
Frackville
Frackville
has their own planning and zoning?
To stop,
I think we have one. The
Just-
county, all of it is under the county.
The area that's it, I believe, isn't that Butler Township? out
yes,
Yeah, it's not.
it's a small piece of Butler Township, but 200 feet behind the houses, you're in Newcastle Township.
No, but what I mean is if you're looking in the Hilton zone, it's more the Butler Township residents
And Newcastle.
than the Frackville residents.
Well, Butler Township residents are only a block and a half. Then the rest of them toward the nursing home is all Frackville residents. Elm Street divides Butler Township from Frackville.
Butler and Newcastle have their own zoning.
It's far, yeah, Butler and Newcastle have their own planning and zoning, so Frackville doesn't.
Newcastle is not helping us by allowing these buildings to be built 200 feet. Can you stop that?
No.
Can you change it to 1,000 or 2,000
Under
feet?
Pennsylvania law, we cannot tell a municipality that has their own planning and zoning what to do or not to do. They send us what they're going to do, and we can comment no, and they can throw it in the garbage and say, we have our own planning and zoning. That's Pennsylvania law.
Can you send them a letter?
Oh, well, yeah, 200 feet is ridiculous. I mean,
Tell them 200 feet is ridiculous? That would be great, because it's about 1,200 feet from Laurel Street to Interstate 81. If you can change that 200 feet to 1,000 feet,
Well, see,
then they won't be able to build
Well,
things
see,
on the
that's
side of
what I'm
81.
looking into. You cannot restrict planning and zoning to hurt, and they'll sue and win.
But
You cannot set arbitrary boundary lines that says it's 1,000 feet, because now you're making their property that they can't, you'll get sued and lose. Listen, that location, I don't really know what's going on with that. We've heard they were, then we heard they weren't, then we heard it was sold, and then
the
somebody.
developer filed a lawsuit with Newcastle,
Filed a lawsuit against Newcastle?
against Newcastle for this ordinance.
No, wait, they filed, hold on, I'm confused. They filed a lawsuit against this ordinance or to make this ordinance?
Against Newcastle.
Because they don't like this ordinance? Well, no, the data center,
what the-
looser, that doesn't make sense. If the data center, if they want us to let a data center come on,
I don't know the official
so I don't,
reason.
but what I'm saying to you is, you can't make arbitrary laws against one industry and not the others, because you'll get sued and lose.
See,
But I would go to Butler Township and Newcastle Township, because they have their own planning and zoning, and go to their
but
meetings.
they just passed this on May 5th.
But it's not under the county office. I know people don't like when I say that, but it's not under the county, it's their own planning and zoning.
We're at Newcastle's mercy.
Well,
All of Frackville. Because Data center noise travels 2 miles. All 4,000 residents in Frackville will hear the data
No
center.
public comment, and a lot of stuff on
I know.
data centers here that addresses some of these concerns.
And this is the parcel number I have written
Okay,
down.
I have it.
Every group of people, go for the,
Go to Butler and go to
take your
Newcastle.
council people, take a large council.
We've been doing that the last 6 months, and this is the ordinance they come up with.
I don't understand why the data center's suing Newcastle over this ordinance. Because honestly, I think it's a very favorable ordinance.
The 200 feet is favorable to them.
So I'll have to, I don't know enough about it, because they have their own planning and zoning.
The developer is KRNL from New York City, 152 Madison Avenue, 7th floor.
Okay.
And I talked to them, as soon as I heard last July about a data center in Frackville, I called the number that I found on the internet. And the person, one of the 2 people that in that company, that person said they bought that property on Laurel Street because there's a power line there. That's the only reason they bought it. I said, did you look into the water? He said, no, we didn't even look into that yet. We just bought it because there's a power line. And they bought the land in September. Last September, we were asking them, I was asking them not to buy the land, but they bought it anyway.
Okay, but the land sold for what, 600?
600,000, 2 parcels, a Butler parcel and a Newcastle Township parcel. Both of them for 600,000.
Like I said, I'll look into it.
So,
We
so
can't tell
how
us-
about the 200 feet?
We cannot-
Could you press that?
We can't. We cannot tell a township that has their own planning and zoning what to do. We would get sued.
Done is planning, they get it to review
They
it.
get it to review it, but it doesn't, they can make a comment, but they have the authority to just throw that comment in the garbage and do what they want.
Nobody reviewed this plan.
Well,
It just- The attorney wrote it up and they submitted it.
Once again, you got.
Once again, you gotta talk to your supervisor and Butler and Newcastle Township. I know you don't like that answer.
I
but
know.
That's the law. You get the county sued if we try to
These
tell.
three gentlemen have no control. Board of supervisors, the people want, talk to them, say, tell your story to them. They can talk to them. Supervisor, they can talk. to
We're
them.
already talking to them, but they're not.
Well, it's all, what you're
They're
telling
not
me.
paying attention.
It's sensible, it's not, unrealistic, but it's safe.
Yeah.
And would you want to live next to a, maybe put stuff, yeah.
We told them that.
But they're the guys who you talk to.
And like I said, I have a ton of stuff here that I'm going to address on data centers, so let's move on.
This affects all of Walnut Manor and the rest of Frankfurt, the noise, the water, the electricity.
And I have a ton of stuff here to address this, but that's.
Okay,
I would,
Thank you.
I would vote for us to.
Okay, let's move on with public
Thank you.
comment, please. Thank you.
thank you for your time.
Hi, Claire Campus, North Manheim. I just want to confirm that you received information that I sent, I forget when, last week, the Shamokin Township Ordinance Number 2026. I think what we need to
Providing
do,
that to-
yes, this is a wonderful ordinance for anybody who is concerned about data centers, and it is approved by the Pennsylvania Data Center Accountability, and Shamokin Township got an A- in their ordinance. So, I mean, that's, to me, an A- is a pretty good thing. There are 8 issues that are on here. No, there are 11 issues. 8 of them got check marks as being approved. 3 still need a little tweaking. But I will give this gentleman this information. It is Shamokin Township Ordinance Number 2026. It looks like it's a good guide. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, we received it.
Okay.
And I have a ton of information on data centers
Okay.
that we've been doing research on. Okay, any other public comment? Well, just wait one second.
Well,
Morning, y'all. Melinda Diver, North Manhattan Township. I think we are at a tipping point in this county. Residents and voters are increasingly becoming frustrated and discouraged. We are losing faith in many of our elected and appointed officials. Let's look at a little handful of examples. And I believe Mrs. Kempis just brought this up. An entity known as Pennsylvania Data Center Accountability Review recently rated the Butler Township Data Center Ordinance as a D-, very poor, for a myriad of reasons. no decommissioning plan, no expansion caps, 75 decibel noise limit. That's like listening to a vacuum cleaner in your ear 24/7. It is absolutely the weakest in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. What lies below the North Point site? It's my understanding they've subsequently sold to another company, but the North Point site, which is located in High Ridge, what lies just below there? The little old borough of Gordon. Gordon will receive the stormwater drainage. They will receive the low frequency sounds coming from a data center. Does Butler Township give two hoots what the people of Gordon have to say? Well, obviously not, because the Butler Township supervisors at their meetings now, they're only accepting public comments from Butler Township residents or taxpayers. The middle finger to you, Gordon residents, that's essentially what they're saying. What we do in Butler Township is affecting you, but you're not allowed to come to our meetings and raise any sort of questions or concerns. Now, you would think that a township solicitor would advise against such an indifferent and extreme measure. Well, let's look at that. Who's the solicitor for Butler Township? It's attorney Christopher Reidlinger. Well, he also happens to be the solicitor for the borough of Gordon. Which client is he actually working for? If it was me and I was on the council at Gordon, I'd start shopping around for another solicitor. But hey, that's just me. Okay.
Time, Melinda.
Let's continue. Let's continue on. Who is the solicitor for Ryan Township? Well, once again, it's attorney Christopher Reidlinger. In November of last year, he drafted 4 ordinances for Ryan Township, one of which was to rezone almost all of Mountain Valley Golf Course properties from residential to industrial. Credit to Kaylee Lindemuth of Shenandoah Sentinel for that article. These ordinances were then later approved by the Ryan Township Board of Supervisors, led by Chairman Clyde Holman, who is also a member of SEGCO, which had previously granted a LERTA designation with 10-year tax abatements to the Mountain Valley parcels. Essentially, what was accomplished was spot zoning, which is illegal in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Like I said, we are at a tipping point in Schuylkill County, and we do deserve better than a plethora of data centers, detention centers, warehouses, biosolids processing plants, massive landfills, sludge and textile waste facilities. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Morning. You said it for me.
I forgot to say that.
Jeff Dunkel, Palo Alto. Seems as though a lot of corruption and backdoor deals are starting to come out slowly but surely. Let's see here. 6 elected officials making roughly $100,000 with salary and benefits packages not here at 9:35 this morning. Just shows their work ethic and dedication to the taxpayers. Ms. Stevens at the debacle, we're still dealing with right to know requests. Ms. Gaffney's still not here to explain her FMLA claim from well over a year ago. Her inability to work, and at that point was working less than 100 hours in a 6-month period. We discussed the pays, and 1 or 2 departments you said drastic increase they're requesting. these pays have been at $10 and $12 an hour for as long as I can remember.
Jeff, so you know, we got rid of the gray area. Trying to do stuff.
Is that definitely gone, or is that in the process?
But
That was one thing I was
what
gonna bring
I'm
up.
saying is, they signed a union contract. The union contract's for 3 years. Okay, so we can't arbitrarily during the union contract go, we're increasing this person's pay, because then you have to increase everybody's pay across that entire union. So that's why we're in union negotiations right now, and we realize some of the difficulties that are going on. So we're going into these negotiations addressing a lot of those concerns, because this is the first time they've opened up.
Right, I mean, these
in 3 and
people,
4 years.
these people deserve a lot more than $12.20 an hour, which I know you agree with. But also, there were people at the 911 center making
And
$12 and
they-
$14.
hold on.
I know they're up there now, but what I'm saying was it took years of fighting and arguing to get them to that point. I mean, you could ask some of these row office people how hard it is to get somebody in for $12 an hour to start. They'll tell you. That's why there's openings all the time. That's why some of the offices are, slacking a little bit. You can't hire anybody at $12 to $14 an hour. It's just impossible. Gray area, you said, is hopefully being removed. Another option, because you're basically with this unassigned fund balance, it's almost like a tax anticipation loan is what you're doing, is just floating money, paying it back. I am 90% sure at one point, I know Chris had mentioned 50 million. Maybe Sharon, you can fill me in. I know it was over 40 million at one time, correct?
But that was a long time.
Well, I'm gonna say within the last 10 years, I would think. But
That's before.
from the numbers that I see, they're just slowly going down. They're in the ballpark, but they're slowly going down. So I don't know if they're not being paid back in full or just being paid back with what you can. So that's another thing we have to keep an eye on. And of course, Horny Hal, he had a major impact on money going out of there as well.
But we got the lawsuit settled, we got it behind us.
I get it, but it's still an impact that we're still feeling down the road.
I agree 100%, but that was the actions of him.
I get it.
that
Oh,
caused
yeah.
it.
And we're still dealing with one that there's still,
There's nothing, yeah, we're still one.
right. Which a lot of people don't know, there's still another lawsuit pending from him. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. And,
Oh, I agree,
he's still receiving a pension.
but once again,
And I know it's out of your hands.
he wasn't charged.
100%, I
so
get
he
it.
cannot do anything.
But I want the taxpayers to know that he's still receiving a pension and everybody else is struggling to
Hey, I looked into
pay their bills.
everything, I asked if we could go with their homeowners insurance, I
I know.
asked them, there's nothing.
But has it been discussed at all about combining row offices that could be combined? Since the vast majority of the row offices work part-time hours, knock that down to part-time hours. There's plenty of counties that do it. So it's things that can be looked into because, there's $500,000 right there that you could save by making some adjustments. Follow the lead from other counties that do it. Save your taxpayers money rather than keep upping their taxes to pay for people that don't show up for work.
We didn't have a tax office this year.
I'm just saying, down the road, you're looking for ways to save money. These people don't show up for work, pay them when they show up, make them clock in. I know it's salary, but
Bill, the ones you're up there,
yes.
you made comments about Frank Thomas putting wild saws in Mike Miller's property. I talked to both individuals, that's not true.
It's not Mike Miller's property, but go ahead.
No, it was.
I didn't mention that it was done on his property, but go ahead.
Well, you said wild saws being done, no, on the property above Mike.
Behind.
Around his property, yes.
Right,
Right.
well, it was manure.
Okay, yeah.
I-
And I'll believe that when I see it. Did you test it?
DEP verified it, the paperwork verified it,
And it was tested?
pardon?
And it was tested and confirmed?
It's
Mike
found.
Miller actually was
Okay.
told, they actually talked to Mike Miller before they spread it. Well, they
But
spread.
so speaking of that, are you gonna return the $1,500 and are you gonna return the $250 to him that you took his campaign contribution?
You said, well, let me finish one issue before we get going.
But
So Gary, Larry, and Larry trying to solve problems. People want to tell people that Frank's been wild saws, that's, you're creating a problem.
he's the biggest biosolid spreader in the county.
Check.
Yes, he is.
I spent a half a day
Yes, he
talking to Frank Thomas and to the DEP and to
And I
Mike
called up,
Miller.
Okay,
Mr. Miller said, tell Jeff to keep his nose out of my business.
is that what he said?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
and
So now my question to you is, now that you're done your little spiel, are you giving back the $1,500 that you took off him?
No, because he's not my biggest supporter.
I'm saying, as a supporter, are you gonna give the $1,500 back?
No,
Okay,
Okay, Jeff, so after you said that, I called Natural Soil Products because I went after them when that initially happened.
right.
They told me right out, they will not give him any material to spread behind Mr. Miller's house.
Okay.
And he said that has not changed. So I called him that day and said, you told us you were not going to spread behind that house. And as far as I know, whoever does this work for Mr. Kramas talked to Mr. Miller, explained what they were spreading on there, and Mike was all.
And my question is, was it tested and do you have proof that it was not?
I'm just telling you what Mr.
Okay.
Miller told,
I get it.
Natural Source Product told us, and Mr. Miller told
Okay.
Boots that they had a conversation about this, that he was well aware of what was.
That's fine if he's well aware of it. What I'm saying is, was it tested and do you
Well,
know?
listen, I can't answer that.
Okay. And neither one of you are giving the campaign contribution to that.
I looked into it, we did get $250, I didn't even know we did. So it's $250, I don't really care if we give it back or not.
Well, that's my question.
And I'll make sure that there's no federal contribution.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other public comment? So I just want to address some stuff here with data. Well, first of all, we had, you can go, Christina. I just thought if somebody had another tax thing, then you were here to answer it. So first off, we had the meeting with DEP. We have just a bullet point listings. We went through natural soil products, Brad's landfill, and the detention center, while DEP secretary is here. With the natural soil products, we brought up the question about the board system. Since the board system was installed, the moisture levels are too high, and they're currently doing a second process because the board system isn't doing what it's supposed to do and storing stuff on the pads like they used to. DEP said they're looking into all that. DEP encouraged everybody to continue to call and file complaints at the 570-826-2511 number. And they are adding now, they did, it was a month or two ago, but it's public knowledge now. They added somebody to the office here, the mine reclamation. They added a person there so they can respond faster to the area. So it's not like if you call, it's not 3 days later or a Wilkes-Barre person trying. It's gonna be somebody here from the Pottsville office. They are also putting some other stuff in place to look at with natural soil products about the odor. And actually, DEP will soon be releasing proposed changes to biosolid land application permit process, and the county will review and comment. As far as I know, it's.
PFO, PFAs.
They're looking at stopping PFOs and PFAs in it before it even gets to a processing plant. So that's what came out of the meeting with that. With the Brad's landfill, go ahead.
Yeah, so if you're a municipality and have a sewage plant, you go on, go out and discharge it. If you were a landfill like Brad's has leachate, you'll be required to put a system on your property to collect ore that goes to Schuylkill Valley.
It has to be
Now,
treated.
the crazy part is, this technology is available, but it's not cheap.
No.
So if it does go through, get ready to have your sewer bills increase. But once again, public health is more important than we're gonna spend the money, to me, but yeah, this is, PFOs and PFAs will no longer be permitted long term. And the place that has them has to get rid of it, can't transport them somewhere else. That way, if it doesn't get into the sludge, you want to worry about sludge being placed in farmland to have the contamination.
So now with the Brad's landfill, go ahead.
I have a question. Was the PFOA testing, that's at the wastewater?
That's at the source before it's,
Even if it's out of state?
yes, as far as I know, yes. That, if it is, they can reject it. That's a thing, but that's going to be announced. We don't have all the specifics. They just told us a broad spectrum of information. And I think it was a really productive meeting with the DEP secretary. Because we brought all the concerns up. We made sure, Dr. Aaron Portland, down at on Brad's, and with NSP, Shirley wrote some stuff, and we made sure we handed it directly to the DEP secretary. Mrs. Portland, Dr. Portland, gave us a packet of information. We made sure they got to it. I asked, Mr. Poshko, I gave him the opportunity to send us some information if he wanted to, and he did, I guess, because Dr. Portland covered, Dr. Portland really covered a lot of information. So we gave that to DEP. As for Brad's.
And the Brad's also, the bad news is that the Schuylkill Valley Brad's is not able to get agreement to have leachate. There's a pipeline going there, but they can't agree on it. So what Brad's doing, I'm very upset about this. Brad's gonna put it.
Continue trucking.
Truck it, and also, but they're gonna pond the road.
Yeah, so, but, okay, let's go over those quickly with Brad's.
Yes.
There's the existing consent agreement with Brad's right now about their order issue and everything that's incorporated with their permit extension. Based on current permit daily tonnage, of 1,500 tons per day. The landfill would reach full capacity, it would take 20 years. So the earliest, as of right now with their permit, they cannot ask for a permit expansion on the landfill for about 15 years. That's what DEP told us. They're looking into all of the odor issues. I guess the Brads recently installed a burn-off system. So I don't know when that exactly went online, and I don't know what effects it's having, but they recently installed a burn-off system. St. Clair, they're tracking the St. Clair issue about the waste from St. Clair. The only thing that can go through St. Clair that's going to the Brad's landfill, if it's a local contractor or somebody from St. Clair. Like just Jeff, if you demo one of your houses, you're permitted with your truck to drive through St. Clair to dump at Brad's landfill. If it's a corporation or anything, they have to come off the main one down to Burma. And now, well, like Boone said, they entered into a maintenance agreement, a repair agreement for the Burma Road. And then they're bonding it. And then with this leachate discharge, the only thing that Brad's landfill has out there right now for permit modification is to continue trucking the leachate. Because they cannot reach an agreement, like Boone said, with Schuylkill Valley Sewer Authority, they can't reach an agreement with them. So they're asking to still truck it. And we're going to send in a letter saying we're opposed to them still trucking it. Because I honestly believe the pipeline to it is a lot more safer, and there's not as many trucks on the road, and the impacts on the roads, and I think the leachate, and plus, if they have to monitor for the PFO, PFAs, it's easier to do it through that system than you get in a truck and dump it in sewage treatment. So.
Well, the sad part is the line's already constructed.
The line's already constructed, it's right there, and it's stopped. So I told DEP I would prefer them to hook that line up and deal with their sewer.
10 to 12 truckloads a day of leachate being hauled out.
You know, that's the only permit and modification they have. There's no expansion, even with buying the land or any of that stuff. There's no plans for expansion. They would have to do it within. They couldn't do it until 15 years ago. DEP said they have very strong concerns with Waste Connections operator. I guess they're having problems with them down in their Bethel facility. They have they're asking for an increase in tonnage right now. They want to go to 33,000. It's in review, it's under review, and they said even though the comment period has technically expired, DEP encourages comments and the county intends to comment. They are still accepting comments about the tonnage increase. That's not an expansion of the physical area of the plant. That is just on the tonnage they can take in a day. It's not expanding the landfill. It's just the tonnage a day. The Tremont Detention Facility, we did ask them about the orders issued for DHS and SCMA and Tremont receiving water and sewer. The same concerns that we have about water and sewer are exactly the same concerns that DEP has, but I do have to clarify in DEP, I asked them this because it was asked at our last meeting. They are Big Lots itself. Whatever they were as DEP, as Big Lots, they were allowed to have for 300, 400 employees. If say they would open that facility, they are allowed to have water and sewer that Big Lots have. They're not allowed to go beyond that. So if it was permitted for 1,000 gallons a day and 1,000 gallons a day out, that's what it's permitted for. It can't be expanded further. DHS and the state, I guess, are in a process of going back and forth over the order to not issue water and sewer permits for it, as far as we know. On the topic of the Tremont Detention Facility, I know Congressman User is talking to Bradway and Mullen. Everybody's seen that there's the Inspector General is investigating some of these sales of these detention or the warehouses. So as of right now, nobody knows for sure if it's coming to Tremont or not coming to Tremont. We're trying. Recently, our solicitor, we just sent them an updated list to the Congressman's office and everybody. We figured out exactly what the school district's losing, the county's losing because the tax bills are out now, and the municipality. We're in the process of trying to make sure that whatever's going on in this building, I don't care if it sits there empty, that they pay in lieu of taxes. The municipality, the school district, the county should be out money because of their decisions with that facility or that property. So where that stands right now, that's where it's at. We're trying to get more clarification on what's coming forward now. As for data centers, right now, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. There's two articles right now, there's two bills in the House on data centers about impact local community, noise, everything. I have those. One's House Bill 2150, another one is House Bill 2151. I have all the stuff that the PUC is acting to protect ratepayers, guide data center growth, the new large load tariff on their framework. So if they put a large load on it, they get tariff, and if they have to pay, that the ratepayers aren't paying increased energy rates in Pennsylvania. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did not get through this whole thing yet. This is the PUC guidelines on data centers. I did not get through it all, but it is a pretty good framework. I know it might sound crazy. I know what Governor Shapiro is saying about data centers and what our treasurer, Stacey Garrett, is saying about data centers. I kind of agree with both of them, that we have to do it cautiously, make sure it's done right, and we need to have the protections in place that are needed. So if anybody wants any of these things, I have the House bills. One this, I only have one printed out. Well, sorry, it's over 150 pages. So we're giving all that stuff to our planning and zoning, and we're looking at all the information with data centers. I still believe, Chris brought up about the tax base, I 100% believe if they're done right, in the right locations in Schuylkill County, they could have a positive impact on your tax base. You just gotta make sure they're done in the right locations. And what we have luckily in Schuylkill County is lots of abandoned coal lands. And those coal lands are discharging hundreds of thousands of gallons of wastewater a day. The one outside of Tamaqua, the one coal lands is discharging, I think it's 150,000 gallons a day. It's discharging. So they're talking about experimenting with mine coal water. We have a unique opportunity in Schuylkill County that a lot of counties don't, because we have the thing that we call as a scar and a blemish on Schuylkill County, we can turn into a positive for Schuylkill County. So that's what we're looking at. So we're working diligently with all this information, but the information is changing daily on data centers. Even their design, the amount of water. When I first heard about data centers, when I first come in, they were saying we're going to use 200 to 150,000 gallons a day. Now they're down to 60,000 gallons a day only on the hottest days, because they're a closed loop system. And when it's super hot, say for 10 days, 20 days in Pennsylvania. And what I was told, the reason they're looking at Northeast states is because 6 months out of the year, they can just open the doors up and cool it naturally because of our weather change. It's not like Texas, it's not like down south where they have continuously hot weather. That's why they're looking at the entire Northeast. So I'll provide this information after the meeting, but that's where it's at. So if there's no other public comment, I'm gonna move on to people. Well, you're staying.
You're too long.
No, that's not my problem. You're staying.
Way too long.
Now you're leaving. Haha.
I'll come back if you want.
Okay, we'll probably still be here. Hey, Jeff, get us lunch.
Okay.
Get a pizza or something.
You're gonna be, well,
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a good idea. I think that's where I'm gonna go. Roast beef club.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on with children and youth. Sorry, everybody, for how long. There's a lot of information.
Good afternoon. Morning.
Steve, you're good. You're not bad today.
No. Save it out for next time.
Oh, God.
Uh,
You're like 3.5 pages.
So we fortunately have that requirement to do annual contracts. But what we have is two items today. One is an item for juvenile probation. First, we're requesting approval with the term period July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. Central County's Youth Center, Bellefonte, PA, the detention services they offer with a per diem rate, $667 a year. Secondly, Justice Works Youth Care Pittsburgh, PA for their in-home prevention and reunification services with rates as follows. The Just Care program is at $85.51 per hour. Stop at $91.21 per hour. Plans of Safe Care at $73.43 per hour. Family Finding at $73.43 per hour. Visit Coaching at $85.51 per hour. Truancy Remediation at $85.51 per hour. Triple P at $93.49 per hour. Their truancy prevention programs at $459.29 per diem. at each of the county school districts. And finally, their transportation service program is at $30,000 per month on a program-funded basis with a $58.23 per hour rate for the transporter. I just got to add two things with regard to Justice Works. I need to take this opportunity to express our sincere appreciation for the work that the company does down at Children and Youth. As some folks in the room right now know, we have a youth with us currently for whom no other placement options could be provided. We're providing some direct supervision for her. The staff have really stepped up and have been helping us out in this time. And so I just want to, as the occasion is here, give that nod.
Just a comment to you, Cory, Memorial Day weekend, on it was Saturday, I saw the next XRM for foster parents, which,
Oh, yeah, we're very happy with the results of the filming on that. We got some volunteers from amongst our foster parents, and we're happy to put them out there and give those opportunities to learn more about what it all involves. And that example I was just mentioning is a really great example of where we need help from the local community on being there for our kids in need.
Thank you. Coroner's office, you reading that, Gary?
I will, for approval of a contract with Partners in Specialty Pathology PC for specimen testing for the county coroner's office. Term is January 1st, 2026, December 31st, 2026. Renewable in 1 year unless otherwise terminated, call for the fee schedule.
Thank you. Where's your hand?
Good morning, John Blickley on behalf of Emergency Management. We have two items today. Item number one is the approval of the federal fiscal year 2025 Emergency Management Performance Grant in the amount of $62,657. This is the grant that reimburses some of the salaries within the office. And due to the federal budget issues as well as the shutdown, we're asking that the grant is approved today.
I make a motion that we approve the EMPG grant agreement.
Second?
Any question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
The second item is the renewal of our hazardous materials emergency response agreement with Dauphin County. As you are aware, commissioners, yes, last year we did work with Dauphin County Hazmat Team to provide services here in the county as required by Pennsylvania Act 165. So we're just looking to renew that again through August 31st, 2027. And then we'll look at more of a formal 4-year agreement based off of when they're certified by PEMA. So, we'll ask for, 4-year agreement after 2027. So we'd like to request approval.
Yeah, that's because you just recently switched to this year.
We switched last year.
Last year.
Yeah. So that was due to our commercial hazmat team going out of business, and we worked with Dauphin County, and we've had a ton more support, with hazardous materials programs, working with them, and we have in the past working with that.
They were for your LAPC meetings that we went last year, right?
Yes.
They really sharp group of people, and it looks like it's working well. So
Yeah, it's working out.
I'll make a motion that we approve the hazmat emergency response agreement with Dauphin County.
Second?
Any question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
That's good.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Grant writers.
Morning, Cheryl.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Cheryl Puss on behalf of grant writers. First is approval of a contract in the amount of $30,370 to AAA Services LLC for a CDBG 88 project in Wayne Township. And next is approval to advertise for a public hearing for the 2026 EFC development. Thank you.
Human Services.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sharon Love on behalf of Human Services. Recommendation that the Board of Commissioners approves the following agreements for the period July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. A rate agreement with Culture to Culture, Pottsville for medical assistance transportation services at the rate of $57.37 per one-way trip. A rate agreement with Goodwill Fire Company, number 1 Minersville for medical assistance transportation and Human Services Development Fund transportation services at the rate of $143 per one-way trip. a rate agreement with Penn Cacher, Pottsville, for after-hours answering services for the Medical Assistance Transportation Program at the rate of $145 per month for up to 100 calls. Additional calls will be charged at 45 cents for each call, and charges for long distance will be made at the prevailing rate for Verizon. And a rate agreement with Schuylkill Transportation System St. Clair for medical assistance, transportation, and human services development fund services. Rates for MATP are $46.25 per one-way trip rate and range from $3.60 to $6.45 for a one-way senior shared ride trip. Escorts for MATP are also charged the $46.25 one-way trip rate, and HSDF rates range from $175 for a single-use bus ticket to $86 for a one-way trip for 25 plus miles with an escort.
Thank you. Office of Senior Services?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Deanna Roski, Office of Senior Services. Approval of an addendum to contract number 2024-95 for fiscal year 25-26 with Diacon Child, Family, and Community Ministries of Middleton, PA, to increase the contract cap for senior community centers, senior center non-competitive grant, PA Medi, health and wellness, in-home meals, and volunteer serving seniors in the amount of $359,688 for additional funding through the Department of Aging. The contract cap revised will be $1,374,598. Requesting immediate approval.
Motion for the senior services.
Second?
The question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington, Commissioner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Morning, Lisa.
The Liquid Fuels Department, I'm requesting approval for a purchase order to Signal Services in the amount of $37,936 to install a new cabinet and controller at Route 61 and 183 traffic signal due to recent issues with the traffic lights malfunctioning. This price includes the cost of the parts, labor, and the service vehicle, and the installation of a temporary box until the new one is built. This is the one right by the Mannheim Diner, and it's been malfunctioning usually on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So we're getting that checked, and I wanted to make sure that it was not associated with the construction there, and it is not. Yeah.
Motion to make repairs necessary on the 61, 183 traffic light.
Second?
Question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
And on behalf of Colans, I'm requesting approval of the renewal of the Joe Cooper Ravage Company's restoration leases R07C2 and R8A. Both leases are in the reclamation phase with no active mining or future mining to be done on both leases. The fee will remain at $1,200 per lease for the year term. And that'll be until DEP releases their bond.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tax claim? Gary?
Approval. You gonna know those, David?
Yes.
Okay.
For tax claim, on behalf of tax claim, David Rice, Assistant Solicitor, approval of the following 5 repository sales pursuant to 72 PS Section 5860.625, and the repository sales are set forth on the agenda.
Okay, Finance Office?
Good morning, Commissioners. We have 3 items for informational purposes only. These are current year budget adjustments. The Commissioner's Office, $150, Prison $23.50, and OSS for $115,000. On behalf of Drug and Alcohol, we ask for the immediate approval of supplemental budget appropriation resolutions for the current year 2026-11 in the amount of $398,661.
Motion for 2026-11.
So moved, sir.
Second?
Question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
County Administrator?
Approval to ratify the designated approved contract for the month of May 2026, and that's what we're reading approval.
Motion to approve the designated contract for
Second?
Some question?
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Personnel?
Good morning, Commissioners. In Children and Youth, we have the promotion of Kayla Board to County Caseworker 2 from County Caseworker 1. The rate is $23.7467 per the union contract, effective 6/15/26.
There are 3 appointments in the prison, all correction officers part-time, all effective 6/15/26. The rate for the union contract is 26.4555. And the names of the chosen candidates are Hannah Kruppenbach, Craig Sterner, and Daniel Walls. 2 informational items. 1 in domestic relations, the appointment of Jeffrey Griffiths as Secretary 1, effective 6/8/26. Rate is per the contracts. And in the district attorney's office, the appointment of Craig Stein, Detective 2 per diem, effective 6/15/26. All appointments pending drug test and physical where appropriate, all actions involving salary or for positions being created or pending salary board approval.
Okay, thank you. Any new business?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment. We get frustrated with some of the issues in the West End, and I'm sure Richard again today, he asked me at speed dial. I said, this is fine, we'll be fine. But I thought the meeting was very productive. Commissioner has used his connection with Group Poppage and with the governor's office. Larry's been working like a devil, and the VHS concern here was huge. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but the fact that they hired a person, I work at the state and the government, my daughter works at DEP, hire a staff person, it's hard to do because they always keep cutting GGO money. But John Baczynski, Roger Bellis, and the secretary said, we understand what's going on, we want to try and make this work. If you're a person and sign the money off, it's gonna be here, so if the spell problem occurs, they're there right away. So my mind, that was huge. Also, with President, what they've also negotiated with them was section of land was not gonna be operating very much, they're gonna cover it with a active coverage.
Yeah, that's right.
And so there's things that they're doing, it doesn't sound a lot, but they are, Baczynski, Bellis, and their boss, Shirley, Jessica Shirley, get it. You say, well, let's just shut the place down. Well, that would happen, we come out of cereals, we wind up in lawsuits, before injunctions, we get no progress. At least now, some of this seems minuscule, national, but there's progress being made. Mr. Fedora, he pretty much took this legally, got the big commissioner on top of it. So, and also I think Gary worked very closely with the governor's office to make sure we heard that. Like I say, that's a busy lady, but have her come to our county, sit down with them 3 hours, we had her time.
Yeah,
3 hours, it was with the whole 415. So I felt like we were being heard, we're getting, you know, surely one of these days I want to go out there, big place of business, not have a smell bad, okay? So I said, I want to come to your house and visit, it won't smell bad someday, so.
I don't advise it.
Well,
But I still have a question, who is this person? And do you have a phone number that they can be contacted?
but they still want to call a hotline.
You still want to call a hotline?
This person says it,
The number I just read off is the number they would call. But there's a guy stationed here, you could probably call the mine officer, because everybody just thought that was mine reclamation. It's a DEP office too, so they're adding a person there full time.
Okay, so you don't have them now, we don't have.
I don't have his contact information or their directory, we just go through their normal thing. And I guess you could ask the contact at the top to him here at this office.
Would Roger know?
Probably.
So bottom line is rather than a person working out of Wilkes-Barre office or Harrisburg, they're here. To me, that was a huge step in the right direction to get that done, so.
Because that's the problem, and surely I asked them, they said they used their nose to smell it. I brought up, well, do you certify somebody's nose that they can smell certain things? Some people think some smells are worse than other smells. Some people go nose blind. You know, during COVID, there's people that have, you know, so I said, and I know they say it, but I said, when you say you realize that somebody's nose, I said, you know, what's that mean?
Global technology today, that's.
Well, we can test SO2, we can test different things, we can test chemical, we can. What has to happen is the person that calls this says, listen, this doesn't smell good. The agent comes there and agrees, you're right, then that becomes a violation. Now, if he gets there an hour later, it smells gone, or the person isn't available an hour later when he gets there, having this person, to me, is a huge step in the right direction to get this thing on.
Yeah.
So you're.
And I think this was in response to us trying to push to get Kyle, our solid waste guy. I was like, can't you certify somebody here to be able to expedite these investigations? And they said, because of legal reasons, no, because once again, it's the state. So this was their, I think, compromise, because that's what we kept pushing for. Not that he has authority to do anything, but he can show up and write a report, Kyle. And they said they couldn't do that, so I think that's why they came up with this. So, as I said, I agree with you. So in an hour, the wind shifts, you get there in an hour, the smell's gone. So we're trying, I think it was a productive meeting, we brought every concern up about everything with DEP in Schuylkill County. I brought up about Stavolas, I brought up just everything. You know, and the humanity of it in the west end of the county, you can't enjoy your property, you can't have a picnic, you can't use a big ground pool, you can't open your windows, you can't hang your laundry out. They said, you know, this is a real humanitarian issue, that these people have a right to enjoy the properties. And because of a company, you know, I'm not saying shut them down, but they should be able to control their odor and keep it on their property. You know, so like Luke said, I think it's a step in the right direction, that somebody's only gonna be 20 minutes away instead of an hour away. So hopefully, and just tell everybody to call. I know Shirley, you and I talk about this all the time, people get frustrated. Just keep calling. Every time I drive through West End County, I file a complaint. Every time I'm up there, I call and file an order complaint. If I smell it, I call.
Sad thing is that people are tired.
I know.
Because after 4 years, they thought, you know, the state is still there.
Well, we're trying to resolve it, even though, like I told Harrisburg, they don't wanna fix it unless the authority to fix it.
DEP response is the only way to get it fixed is to have complaints. We stop calling in and they'll say, well, we're doing okay.
They're doing okay. So just keep complaining, tell everybody, keep calling in.
You have to solve it with the evidence.
While you're on that subject, how many tons per day comes from Schuylkill County? Do you have any idea?
Oh, it's like 5%, 6% of their total.
That was my statement to them also.
It's like 5%.
99,000, over almost 100,000 tons per yard comes from Newport.
It's like
That
5%.
was my statement to them. Why can't New York and New Jersey keep their
They
own?
banned it.
Well, that's why. And then we get it. The same with rats and a lot of this construction waste comes from out of the.
But
State.
I'm sorry, that's a federal law, it's interstate commerce, and
I know, I'm tired.
it's way above our pay grade, but we're trying to get some headway.
Thank you.
So I want to, I want you to.
Before you adjourn, if I may, Commissioners, for the record, Michael Pate, District Attorney. The appointment of Craig Stein, I noticed the effective date was June 15th. I would respectfully request the Commissioners, you allow him to start on June 8th. The only detective I have in-house right now.
That's all we discussed.
Yes. The only detective I have in-house right now is out for medical reasons. He was out all last week. He's going to be out all this week. I'm not sure he's going to be back. So I've had to solicit the Pennsylvania State Police. Minersville Borough was good enough to do some transporting for me. So I really need him sooner rather than later. If we can make that effective June 8th, that would help me a great deal.
Can we do that, we have to do this motion to amend the date,
Yes.
do it in salary. We do it now or in salary?
Salary board.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate it.
Okay, can I motion to adjourn? Salary board, or any executive sessions, public comment for salary board. Yeah. You better raise some.
We have 2 items in the district attorney's office. Create the position of detective 2 per DM effective 6/8/26.
Yes.
And set salary for Craig Stein in that position at $22.43 per hour effective 6/8/26.
And so I need a motion to amend the start date from what was published for 6/15 to 6/8.
I'll make a motion to amend the start time for 6:15 to 6:30.
Second.
If I almost, on the question, I mean, if I also maybe heard on the salary, that's the one we talked about, right? He has another job. That's why this is only a per diem.
And if you fill it with a full-time position, eventually.
That's right. This will go away. Yes, but we talked about the salary.
Yeah.
We were going to start it at the initial union rate of 22.43. He would not accept that. I can't get anybody to accept it at that rate. I had talked about it and the par was submitted at $29.32 an hour. We talked about getting the approval from the union. They have given that approval, so I'm requesting that the rate be at $29.32 an hour rather than $22.43.
So I'll make my motion, I'll rescind it, I'll make it start date of 6/18, 6/8/26, and also the higher salary 29.
32.
So I guess, on the budget,
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Lori Pensick,
Yes.
District Attorney O'Pate.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioners. I'll help you out a great deal.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll vote for it.